In this video, we are going to talk about dividend stocks that will pay your bills. So before starting this video, please like this video and subscribe to this channel for our future updates. It is a terrible prospect to enter retirement without sufficient savings. That could seem like stating the obvious to some people. After all, it is not a very enjoyable experience to reach a point where one has no more money. The danger of running out of money in retirement is, however, that you are no longer able to supplement your income by working extra jobs or reducing the amount of money you spend on other things. Although some retirees have the financial means to spend lavishly, the majority of retirees are primarily concerned with day-to-day matters such as procuring food, paying property taxes, and visiting a physician. There isn't a single one of these costs that can be considered a luxury, and reducing even one of them would be excruciating, if not downright dangerous. Check out these dividends that will take care of your expenses. Realty income. Realty Income, a conservative triple-net retail REIT, is possibly the stock that has been connected with receiving monthly dividends the most throughout the course of stock market history. The company is so serious about making the monthly dividend company its official moniker that it registered the term as a trademark. Since Realty Income is traded like a stock, its share price is subject to the same market forces that affect the prices of other stocks. On the other hand, it is a bond-like investment that can only be purchased on the stock market. It has reliable recurrent rental income flows thanks to its empire of over 11,000 properties, which are rented out to over 1,000 different people. Realty Income is committed to investing in high-traffic retail buildings that are resilient to economic downturns and, perhaps more crucially, Amazon.com proof. Realty Income is perhaps the closest thing there is to a firm that is fully safe from the threat of competition posed by Amazon.com, AMZN, and other large e-commerce companies. The likes of 7-Eleven, Walgreens Boots Alliance, WBA, FedEx, FDX, and Home Depot, HD, amongst others, are among its most prominent tenants. Because the portfolio had a rather high exposure to fitness centers and movie theaters, the epidemic was particularly distressing. But happily, we don't have to worry about those dangers anymore. At the prices in effect today, Realty Income offers a yield of 4.4%. That is not a gargantuan windfall, but it is significantly more than both the general market and 10-year treasuries, which yield 2.8% respectively. The 10-year treasuries are the benchmark for comparison. Stag Industrial. Realty Income was really close to becoming proof against competition from Amazon.com. However, another company that pays monthly, Stag Industrial, is taking advantage of the growth of internet commerce to their advantage. The properties in which Stag invests are mostly those used for logistics and light industry. Do you know those dingy warehouse properties that are located close to the airport and are continuously being traversed by 18-wheeler trucks? That is the precise kind of real estate that Stag Industrial acquires and keeps in its portfolio. It is a certain fact that e-commerce will continue to experience explosive growth in the next years, and Stag is positioned to capitalize on this trend. Amazon.com is the largest tenant at Stag Industrial, which has a portfolio that handles e-commerce fulfillment or other activities for approximately 40% of its total space. It should come as no surprise that increases in online sales were observed during the pandemic. The impacts of that rise have, to some extent, dissipated because retailers have resumed normal business, but the trend here is rather obvious. This pattern can only head in one direction: more and more of our acquisitions are being made through the use of the internet. Despite this, there is a substantial amount of room for development. According to the data provided by the United States Census Bureau, fewer than 14 percentage points of total retail sales are generated through the use of the internet. Stag's management estimates that the worth of their market is somewhere around $1 trillion, despite the fact that the logistical space is extremely competitive and competitively fragmented. To put it another way, it's highly unlikely that Stag will run out of possibilities anytime in the near future. The Stag Industrial sound is not seductive. However, with a long road of potential growth ahead of it, it is one of the greatest stocks paying a monthly dividend that you can purchase in 2022. In addition, its yield of more than 4% is competitive in this market. Gladstone Commercial. Consider purchasing some shares of Gladstone Commercial, good, trading at $18.91, for another rough and tumble industrial play. Similar to Stag, Gladstone Commercial maintains a sizable inventory of assets that are suitable for logistics and light industrial use. Industrial properties account for approximately 51% of its rental revenues, while office real estate accounts for the remaining 45% of its total rental revenues. The remaining 4% is made up of medical offices, 1%, and retail properties, 3%. Because it is so diverse, the portfolio has been able to weather the unprecedented volatility of the past few years with relatively little trouble. The Real Estate Investment Trust, REIT, had a portfolio of 131 properties as of May 2022. These 131 properties were located in 27 different states and were leased to 110 different tenants. Since 2012, the REIT has maintained a steady and rigorous approach to growing its portfolio by 15% each year on average. The current occupancy rate is 97%, and it has never fallen below 95% in its history. That wasn't a horrible run at all. Additionally, Gladstone Commercial has been one of the stocks with the most reliable monthly dividend payments, having not skipped a single payment since January 2005. Good produces a luscious yield of above 7% at the moment. EPR Properties. The COVID-19 outbreak was difficult on many property managers and landlords. EPR Properties was one of the few companies that was hit as uniquely as it was. EPR is the owner of a portfolio that includes a wide variety of businesses, including movie theaters, amusement parks, ski parks, eat-and-play assets like Topgolf, and a great number of other establishments. EPR is a company that focuses on experiences rather than material possessions, which is probably the worst way to position oneself during an era in which social distance was the norm. The majority of EPR's properties remained closed for an extended period of time after the COVID outbreak, and visitor numbers have not yet rebounded to the levels they were at before the outbreak. The most important thing to remember about EPR properties, however, is that the most difficult times are long since behind them, and the more normal people's lives become, the better the prospects are for EPR's tenants. LTC Properties. The residual consequences of the pandemic pose some challenges for the LTC in the near term, but the company's prospects for the longer run are favorable. LTC is a real estate investment trust, REIT, whose portfolio consists of senior living homes and skilled nursing facilities in proportions that are generally equal to one another. It goes without saying that COVID-19 was harsh on this industry. Nursing homes were particularly vulnerable to epidemics, and to make matters worse, the inhabitants of nursing homes were at an especially high danger due to their advanced ages. Senior living communities are distinct from other housing options since their occupants are often younger and are able to live freely without the need for medical assistance. Despite this, many people who were considering renting an apartment during the epidemic were hesitant to leave their houses and move into a building with a higher population density. These residual effects will not go away the next day. However, in the end, senior living facilities continue to provide an appealing and active lifestyle option for a good number of elderly people, and this has not fundamentally changed. And for many elderly people who are in need of expert nursing, home care may be a choice that is open to them. In the end, there comes a time when there are very few options available besides the care that is provided in a nursing home. It is important to note that the longer-term demographic trends in this region are virtually impossible to reverse. The peak of the baby boomer generation is currently between the ages of 60 and 64, which is significantly too young to require long-term care. However, as the baby boomer generation continues to mature into the appropriate age bracket for these services, the demand for these goods and assistance will continue to rise over the course of the next 2 decades. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear from me again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go. Thanks for watching.